Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Hello. What is up, guys? Hunter Klein here, bringing you this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. You guys know the deal. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're pushing through. And it's a good week. It's a good time to be alive. Okay, and I honestly mean that. Now, over the past couple months, things have been down. Okay, it's no secret. We're not going to hide from it. We're not going to brush it off. Things have been down. Things have been low. That's just the ebbs and flows of life. And there's almost always that monthly episode here at IP Monkeys where we state and remind the community that as a result of the type of very transparent communication we have here on this platform, sometimes things are going to get low. Right? Sometimes things are going to get low. We're not going to cover it up with smiles and stories and get on here and put on a show, put on a mask to make sure that we retain viewers or we keep people excited or we put people in a good mood. No, we're 100% authentic all the time. Okay? So, with that being said, things are looking up, and I want to commend those individuals that did hang around, that did tune in after a week where things were a little down on here. I think it's very beautiful, and I want to thank those of you that stuck through. Now, if you didn't, that's okay. I absolutely understand. All right? I've done this myself. I've tuned into one of my favorite podcasts, noticed that the host is really bummed out, and thought to myself personally, I'm not really in the mood to listen to this. And that is 100% okay. All right? That is 100% okay. This is entertainment. And for some of us, that the definition of entertainment, the type of entertainment we're looking for, changes on a weekly, daily basis. Sometimes you're in the mood to relate to someone who's down. Sometimes you don't want to hear it. Sometimes you want to laugh. Or you want to get deep, and that's completely okay. But I do just want to throw out an appreciation for those of you that did hang around when things were kind of dragging through the mud, and things are getting better. Okay, we'll talk more about what has happened in the last week, but big things are coming, big changes are coming, the difficult conversations have been had, and we are creating again, friends. We are creating again. We got our gusto back. But of course, let's talk about some things in the world that we may find interesting. Number one, Simone Biles. Olympic gymnastics. Okay. Simone Biles pulled out of the US Olympic gymnastics team because of some mental health challenges. And it blows my mind how shallow-minded and stupid some people on the internet, some people in the world can be. The amount of critical feedback, the amount of crazy, ridiculous hate she's gotten online is hilarious to me. Now, of course, this isn't the entire picture. I want to be very clear here and say there's been a lot of support for this young lady, and she even went out to talk about the positives, and she shined a spotlight on the people that helped her out during these times. But there's still those very dumb humans out there, that just want to tear into this chick for pulling out of the Olympics, for letting down her country. Now, I want us to think a second about how serious these mental health issues must have been for Simone for this to be the decision made. Okay, let's put ourselves in her shoes for one moment. Your entire life revolves around competing every 4 years at the Olympics. Your entire life. Day to day, I'm sure the women of the gymnastics team, all these sports of the US Olympics, all these athletes across various sports of the US Olympics teams, their lives are ridiculously busy. And they're completely focused on success in one very small activity, which they practice day in and day out. Considering this is the pinnacle of her life, what she's trained the last 4 years for, the decision to pull out of this competition was more than likely one of the hardest decisions of her life. Okay? And you know, as a result, that she must have been in a terrible spot to go through this. I was filled with anxiety imagining Simone's meeting with her coach, saying, I am not in a good spot. I am doing absolutely terrible right now. I don't know to the extent of which Simone was struggling, but I'm imagining it was pretty high-end stuff, pretty threatening stuff for her to be sitting in a meeting room with her coach and the decision be, I think I'm done. I think I need to sit out. Okay. Now I'm bringing this story to light specifically because there's an interesting caveat that I relate to, and I think we can really flesh out and has a lot of value here. Now, information on this topic is a little wonky and under the radar, but it is public knowledge that Simone has been taking ADHD medication regularly since she was a child. And the interesting thing here is that these medications are illegal in Japan where this competition is being held. So, the word on the streets and what it seems to be, what I've seen through multiple news stories, is that Simone was not able to take the medication that she has been taking for the last 3 years of this competition. Now, why do I relate to this story very heavily enough for me to bring it up here is because I also had been taking ADHD medication since I was a child. In the process of getting off of these stimulants and trying to continue living your life at the same level is extremely difficult for multiple reasons. Okay? Number one, physical dependence. Okay? This is real physical dependence. Just because this is a prescription for an actual disorder in the human body that I had, that Simone has, does not mean that there is a lack of physical withdrawals from removing this drug. Now, I will talk from my personal experience here, assuming that this translates very well to Simone's exact situation. The process of getting off ADHD medications like Ritalin, Vyvanse, the physical withdrawals are mainly brain related. Okay? You get your reward system is fucked, friends. You do not get the same dopamine hit, the same amount of reward from cleaning your room, from completing a task that you wanted to get done today, for driving to the tire shop to get your tires fixed. Your reward system for these is so out of whack that your body wants you to just sit there. You don't want to do anything. You have this extreme laziness that it looks like on the surface, when in reality, your reward system is just messed up. Compared to when you're on these medications for years and years and years, they support this reward system. You get more dopamine from cleaning your room. Is why people on Ritalin have crazy they go on a crazy cleaning spree, and it feels fantastic. Because every time you pick up that little thing, boom, reward. Every time you sweep the floor, boom, reward. Clean the counter, boom, reward. These ADHD medications make you feel better for achieving specific goals. Why they're so popular in the scholastic system, in the collegiate setting. I don't want to do my math homework. I'm not really interested in it. And now all of a sudden off a Ritalin, and I feel damn good solving these math problems, solving these biology questions, Googling these questions and trying to find the answer to them. And when you get off these drugs, life is dull. Life is very dull. Okay? And as a result, extreme stress comes about. You're stressed out. You're falling behind on things you need to get done. In Simone's case, maybe she's getting out of bed, she has to go train, or in the morning she has to go warm up, but she doesn't feel like she wants to. She feels lazy. She wants to continue laying in bed. Stresses her out a little bit. I have a competition today. Why am I not ready? Why is my brain not mentally prepared to achieve? Okay, stress. The other side of things here, the other aspect of getting off of ADHD medication is the psychological side of things. When you take ADHD medication, your outlook towards the world changes dramatically. You do things, you get things done that you never previously got done. You work at a speed which you never really worked. You have a motivation that you've never previously had. And when you start to accomplish things on these medications, when you start to, in Simone's case, perform certain moves, win certain awards, compete at a certain level on these medications, a doubt begins to creep into the mind. Is this me or is this the medication? Would I be able to do this without this medication? Would I have started this project without this medication? This was an extremely challenging aspect of my involvement with this medication, especially in my earlier years of education and removing it. Now, I will go on the record and say I haven't taken ADHD medication in years. I believe that it nerfs me. It removes my person. It turns me into a goal-only type of person, goal-oriented. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to communicate with you. I want to get my work done by myself in silence. I want dopamine hits from my reward system of goal accomplishment. And it turns me into a shell of a person. I'm not as good at communicating. I would stutter a lot more. I would not flow as freely in my speech. And eventually I just got rid of it. But I can understand the amount of stress that might put you into withdrawing from the Olympics if you were to remove this stimulation, if you were to remove this drug and say, okay, go represent your country on the biggest sports stage in the world. It makes sense. It's hard to relate to if you've never gone through the process. Okay, one, if you've never competed, and if you've never gotten off some type of drug that you've been readily taking for more than 6 months to a year. But there are a lot of aspects. Heck, for me, even in school, removing getting off of a stimulant was stressful as hell. Getting on a stimulant removes huge amounts of stress from your life because all of a sudden everything you need to do is getting done. Okay, you're no longer procrastinating and letting responsibilities build up in the background to the point where one day you wake up and you say, this is too much. Okay, that doesn't happen on these stimulants. Everything is always put together, or that's how it was for me in this scenario. And getting off of the drug, the prescription, and having a little more responsibility and saying, all right, we're doing this the natural way, it is a difficult process. Now, do I think this is an exact replication of what Simone's going through over in Japan, withdrawing from the Olympics? No, but I think there are a couple crossovers here that really are feeding into Simone's problems. It's not as simple as go compete. Okay? What do you mean? Go compete. You're fine. Get off the medication. Go compete. Brain chemicals are off. We're in our own head. Psychologically, there's self-doubt. Can I do this without the medication? And psychologically, there's pressure from the entire nation of the United States. Okay? 4 years of preparation leading up to one one competition. And you're not yourself. And you're not yourself. That's a damn difficult thing. And the fact that Simone stepped up and decided to withdraw from this Olympics, knowing how difficult that decision must be, firm handshakes. Firm handshakes. I know that was a difficult conversation. And I have nothing but respect for Simone for that decision. Also, every old jacked movie star or celebrity you see online on Yahoo Life, whatever these ridiculous news articles are, in movies, they're all on drugs, guys. You can take it from a sports performance specialist, someone who specifically works in strength and conditioning and knows exactly how the body builds muscle, how to maximize muscle growth. You can take it from me. These people are not natural. You would be surprised. These TikTok stars, a lot of these people are on drugs, friends, which is okay. I don't bash anything. Me, myself, I will go on testosterone replacement therapy probably in my early 40s. But don't let it fool you, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger, testosterone replacement therapy. There's no way you can be 74 and that jacked. Which is not how human biology works on a natural level. Okay, as you age, your body says, hey, we don't really need muscles anymore. We're trying to survive. Let's allocate our energy elsewhere. All right? So this is not natural. Joe Rogan, testosterone replacement therapy. And it is beautiful to me that older humans are beginning to become more and more healthy and sustainable. Medicine, technology, everything. The future is unbelievable. This is why one of my biggest goals for getting when I get to the older ages of my life is to have enough wealth. To have enough wealth to take full advantage of the technology, anti-aging technology and medicine that are available in the world. Okay, that is one of the only reasons that I would like to be wealthy as I'm older. Obviously, you like to travel and such, but I want to ultimately live longer and enjoy a prosperous life as I'm aged. Right? I don't want to be limping around in Cabo with $2 million in my bank account. That doesn't sound that great. What I want to be doing is in a gym at 60 years old in Cabo, feeling damn good, feeling like I'm 40 years old because I'm on testosterone replacement, because I have some anti-aging medication that has my heart at looking like a 40-year-old's. And this isn't too much, okay? Let's fast forward 500, 600 years. We could very likely live in a world where humans are living to 150, 160 years of age. Okay, and if you don't believe me, if you think that's too far out, there are turtles on Earth that live to be at 250 years old. Okay, there are turtles that live to be 250 years old. They are biology. Their cells are essentially the exact same thing as our human cells. Why do they not age, and why do we? I bring up this as a specific example because anti-aging scientists are studying these things. David Sinclair specifically, who is going to make humans immortal. If he's going to. Like, this guy is crazy. He's the same guy we talked about a couple months back that reversed the aging of mice, that literally switched a gene in a mouse and it started reversing in age. It started to get younger. My point here is that this stuff is very real, friends. And we tend to get caught up in the bills and needing to go to the grocery store and our pissed off girlfriend or boyfriend or our struggling relationship that we need to mend. I'm just going to keep going here. We tend to get caught up in our lives. And we tend to forget about the grandeur of life itself. The possibilities, the future. We don't have time to look up on Google News anti-aging science, nor do we have the capacity to even understand these articles. But I think it's very important to broaden our perspective and think, holy hell, the future is going to be nuts. Now, we may have missed it. Unfortunately. We may have been a couple centuries out from becoming immortal humans or living to be 250 years old. But nonetheless, it's still exciting. It's still exciting. It's important to note the advancements that we've made today. You cannot tell me, after you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger at 40 years old, with huge biceps and vascularity, and say, wow, we have not made it far. That doesn't happen 50 years ago, friends. That doesn't happen. Not to the extent it is now. This guy is doing very well. And I suspect he will continue. Team human, team advancement. Things are looking up. Okay? Things are looking up. Again, just before we get off this topic, in a comparative world of social media, and I suspect a lot of you guys are in the same rut of self-improvement, and I want to grow, I want to get better, I want to look better, I want to take better care of my body. It's important to note the amount of people out there that do take those extra steps, that do take testosterone, HGH, steroids. And outside of the world of competition, it doesn't really matter. I know there's this weird stigma that steroids are bad and such, but no, you do with your body what you want. Just keep in mind that some of these people are not even on the same path as you, right? You starting to work out twice a week in your local gym naturally, it's not the same as some jack dude on TikTok who's been taking steroids for 8 months. Okay? Keep in mind, a lot of the things you see on these entertainment websites on social media are edited, fabricated, not in the same vein as you. Okay? So keep that in mind. Be careful with your comparative mindset, and that's coming from someone who is plagued by the comparative mindset. Okay? Absolutely plagued by the comparative mindset. This week, Spotify's CEO came out and talked about censorship a bit. Now, this is very relevant to me because I hope to have the podcast, or I do have the podcast on Spotify, but I hope to grow my partnership with Spotify in the future. All right, I'd like to get video on my Spotify playlists, so on and so forth. Very relevant to me, the entertainment online virtual space. You all know I'm interested. We're here right now. It's probably where a lot of you guys are listening to the podcast. And many of us were there for Joe Rogan's transition to Spotify. And one of the biggest worries or the biggest concerns and nude articles and myths is Joe Rogan's getting censored. They took a couple of his podcasts down with, what's his name? Crazy guy. Can't remember right now. It'll come to me. They're taking some of his podcasts down. He's being censored. And the CEO of Spotify made an incredibly good point that made me suspend any of these claims and just go, oh yeah, they're not censoring him. The CEO pretty much said, we have 8 million creators on our platform. And there are specifically rappers that make $10 million plus yearly off Spotify. And we don't censor them. And I was like, oh my God. If Spotify doesn't censor 21 Savage, why the hell would they even think about censoring Joe Rogan? This makes so much sense. If you want to understand the full spectrum of this point, go deep dive into some Spotify rappers, and you'll see how degenerate, how low some of the content on their platform can get. But people like it. And Spotify doesn't care. They're not going to take down your music about guns and gang violence. So why the hell would they take down a Joe Rogan podcast about aliens and DMT? And this just clicked with me. And I just have an insane respect for the Spotify platform now because it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Now, of course, there are certain caveats to this. Joe Rogan is very popular and he's a news source. People aren't getting their news from 21 Savage. But I think the statement by the CEO of Spotify holds a lot of weight. And I do respect the platform, and I do hope they stay on this path of free speech and open communication and all that fun stuff. Lastly, for updates, guys, the shittiest news article of the week goes to Padma Lakshmi is a mood. Relaxing in a blue bikini. Thank God it's Friday. Okay? Padma Lakshmi is a mood. Relaxing in a blue bikini. Thank God it's Friday. Whoever wrote that article, I am sorry. And whoever is reading that article, I hope you get more hobbies. This stuff is ridiculous. If you have interest in these articles, you need to get more hobbies. Okay, I don't mean to bash your personality or bring you down or make you feel incompetent or like I'm better than you, but it is a bad sign if you have interest in what kind of bikini Padma Lakshmi is wearing. So much interest, in fact, that you're going to take time out of your day to look at the picture and read someone else's opinion about it. This is ridiculous. We need to do more with our lives. This is the most stupid human activity we can partake in. Okay, this is stupid. We need to leave high school drama. We need to leave the high school mental space and move on. Okay? Okay, I think we're going to make that a thing. Worst news article of the week. Every week, IP monkeys. Because we just need to bring to light how stupid humans are. Okay? We need to make sure we're not taking ourselves too seriously all the time. Now, updates from life. Last week, I had to be a little discreet about what was going on. Right? Conversations had to be had, and we don't always know who's listening. And some of these decisions, conversations that needed to be had were important enough that I had to leave out of the pod. Okay, I had to be very careful and respectful about how I went in this direction because we don't want my boss to be getting DM'd online by a bunch of IP Monkeys listeners saying, "Oh, Hunter's out." So, what did we do? We quit our job. We put in our 2 weeks. My journey to Austin was completely based around this position. All the way down to where my apartment complex is situated in Austin was completely designed to make my journey to and from work easy and simple. I'm saying this because this all accumulated into one of the hardest conversations I've ever had. That is quitting this position, making the decision, flipping the switch and saying, I'm not happy. I can do better. I deserve better. My time is worth more. I'm getting out. Holy shit, is it a risk? Holy shit, is it a leap? Am I uncomfortable and not the happiest person? But I am taking the leap. And we did it. We put in our 2 weeks and life is vibing right now. Life is ecstatic. Life is up. Now the question is, what do we do next? I will be starting Klein Sports Performance LLC in Austin, Texas, August 16th. I could not find the job I wanted. I thought I found the job I wanted, but turns out it wasn't. Nothing close. I cannot find the job that I wanted here in Austin, so I am making it myself. Sports Performance Specialist at KSP, Klein Sports Performance. And I will tell you, the amount of work that this has taken, the amount of responsibility that has been placed on my shoulders is immense. Turns out starting your own company is not an easy process. Who would have thought? But I will tell you right now, things are looking real good. Okay, things are looking real good. If things go as planned starting August 16th, I will be making more money in the first week of Klein Sports Performance than I have been at my job here in Austin that I've been at for 3 months. Okay? Working less hours, having more control over my life, being the show runner. This is where I belong. This is what I need to be doing. And it feels so damn good. Ultimately, my decision to leave my job was because it was the corporate atmosphere, the pay. It was just rough, guys. The sales, the commission, the turnover, the long, ruthless hours. It was too complicated. It was taking my greatest passion, human optimization and sports performance, and it was nerfing it. It was draining me. And all I want to do is show up, make people better. And I am so passionate about what I do. I believe that I'm so good at what I do that I don't need to sell. I don't need commission. People will come back because we know what we're doing and we put in the effort. And that's pretty much the basis for Klein Sports Performance. Okay? I got to get an accountant. I got to get all this crazy stuff. Life's stressful, but in a very good way, guys. In a very good way, not in the crippling way that I was experiencing in the last couple of months. Stressful in an exciting way. Things are happening, moves are being made, strides are being taken. Life is good, family. All right. KSP, Klein Sports Performance. If you guys are listening and you know how to make logos, I'm going to reach out to my friend Josh Hayden at Hay Creates, see if he wants to make something. We're not going to rush things, guys. We are enjoying life. For the first time in months, maybe even years, I am slowing down, sitting back. For the first time being here in Austin, I'm going out and laying in the sun, relaxing on a Sunday. Just enjoying the process, guys. Taking deep breaths. Walking around in a cutoff. Enjoying myself and living a little bit more in the moment. Okay? So things are good. Hopefully, or I'm assuming, it looks as if we're going to get a little more energy on the podcast. Life's going to be a little more exciting. And I'm excited to start bringing you guys some high energy content again. Like we have always said, you know, the lows of life, the pressure, those moments create change. And without the absolute hell I've been going through the last couple months, I would not be able to have started this. I wouldn't have had the motivation to start this company. A company that now allows me to put in my earbuds at the end of the day and dream about very beautiful futures. Allows me to feel good about myself again. To be excited about the future again. And that is one of the most beautiful things in life. Something that I haven't had since I left Arizona. And it's a goddamn good time to be alive, okay? Okay, if you guys are doing well, enjoy it. If you guys are struggling, like I have been the last couple months, battle through. Battle through. Life's a roller coaster, the duality. It makes things that much more beautiful in the end. Keep going. Don't give up. All that good stuff. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're learning, questioning things, spending a little time by yourself. Trying to figure out what makes the world go round. Be curious. And however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at, family. Thank you, Stephen Hawking, for that one. Shine on, friends. That's it for this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. This is Hunter Klein, and you'll hear from me next week. Peace, peace.